This is the moon. It's our only natural satellite, and it influences us in ways we don't even realize. But have you ever wondered about some of the weird and unusual things that this celestial body can do? Well, wonder no more, because today we're going to reveal 39 mind-blowing facts about the moon that will change the way you think about it forever. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed by some of the most incredible lunar facts out there. And stick around until the end of this video for one fact in particular that many people don't know. It's so intriguing that you won't believe your eyes. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss anything. Let's get started. Number 39. A day in the life. Did you know that a day on the moon lasts longer than an Earth year? On average, a lunar day lasts about 29.5 Earth days. This means that if you were to live on the moon, you would only experience 2 sunrises and sunsets every year. That's because the moon rotates on its axis at a very slow speed, which is about 1 degree per hour. This slow rotation is caused by the gravitational force of the Earth, which has been slowing down the moon over time. Number 38. A year on the moon. Speaking of years, how long would a year last if you were to live on the moon? Well, the answer might surprise you. A lunar year consists of 365.25 days, which means that every 4 years there is a leap day on the moon. This extra quarter day adds up over time and eventually results in a leap day every 4 years. Number 37. The moon's atmosphere. The moon doesn't have an atmosphere like the Earth does. This means that there is no oxygen on the moon for humans to breathe. And without an atmosphere, there is also no sound on the moon. If you were to scream at the top of your lungs, no one would hear you. Number 36. No liquid water. Another thing that the moon doesn't have is liquid water. All of the water on the moon is either frozen or vaporized. This is because the moon doesn't have a strong enough gravitational force to keep water in liquid form. Number 35. Extreme temperatures. The lack of an atmosphere also means that the moon experiences extreme temperatures. During the day, the surface of the moon can reach temperatures of up to 127 degrees Celsius, which is hot enough to melt lead. At night, however, the temperature can plummet to as low as negative 173 degrees Celsius, which is cold enough to freeze water. Number 34. No protection from space debris. Because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, it is constantly bombarded by meteoroids. These small pieces of space debris burn up in the Earth's atmosphere before they reach the ground. But on the moon, there is nothing to stop them. This means that the surface of the moon is covered in craters caused by these meteoroid impacts. Number 33. Impact craters. In fact, there are so many impact craters on the moon that scientists use them to study the history of the solar system. Each crater is like a little time capsule that records the date and size of the impact that created it. Number 32. A solid surface. Despite being mostly made up of rock and dust, the moon has a solid surface that can support human beings. However, it's important to note that this solid surface is only about 1 mile deep. Below that is a layer of liquid magma. Number 31. Magnetic fields. The moon actually has a magnetic field that extends 5,800 kilometers into space. This magnetic field is thought to be the result of the interaction between the moon's core and the Earth's magnetic field. Number 30. Gravitational pull. The moon's gravitational pull is much weaker than the Earth's gravitational pull. This is why astronauts can jump much higher on the moon than they can on Earth. In fact, a person would weigh about 1/6 as much on the moon as they do on the Earth. Number 29. Tides. The moon's gravitational pull also causes tides on the Earth. As the moon rotates the Earth, its gravitational force pulls on the water in the oceans, creating bulges of water on the side of the Earth facing the moon and the side facing away from the moon. These bulges are what we experience as high tides. Number 28. Light pollution. One of the best things about the moon is that it provides us with light at night. This is especially helpful for nocturnal animals like owls and bats who need to be active when it's dark. However, the moon's light can also cause light pollution, which can disrupt the natural balance of ecosystems. For example, fireflies are often confused by the bright light of the full moon and end up wasting their energy on fruitless mating attempts. Number 27. Volcanic activity. The moon used to be much more volcanically active than it is today. In fact, the entire surface of the moon was covered in lava just a few billion years ago. The lava cooled and hardened over time, creating the solid surface that we see today. Number 26. Moonquakes. Even though the moon is not volcanically active today, it still experiences earthquakes called moonquakes. These moonquakes are usually caused by impacts from meteoroids. Number 25. Moon dust. When meteoroids impact the moon, they create a fine powder called regolith. This regolith covers the entire surface of the moon and is one of the things that astronauts have to deal with when they land on the moon. The dust is so fine that it can easily get into spacesuits and equipment, causing all sorts of problems. Number 24. Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. NASA has several spacecraft orbiting the moon, including the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which has been orbiting the moon since 2009. This spacecraft takes high-resolution images of the moon's surface and helps scientists learn more about our natural satellite. Number 23. The far side of the moon. One of the most interesting things about the moon is that we see its far side from the Earth. This is because the moon is tidally locked to the Earth, which means that it always keeps the same side facing us. The far side of the moon is a mystery to us, but we do know that it looks very different from the near side. That's because the far side of the moon has a lot more craters and is much darker in color. Number 22. The future of the moon. Scientists believe that the moon will continue to move away from the Earth over time. In fact, they predict that in about 50 billion years, the moon will be so far away that it will no longer have any significant gravitational pull on the Earth. Number 21. A second moon. Some scientists even believe that we could have had a second moon, and here's why. About 4 billion years ago, the Earth was struck by a planet the size of Mars, and this impact is believed to have created the moon that we know today. But what if the Earth had been struck by 2 planets the size of Mars? We could have ended up with 2 moons, and it's possible that this is what happened to our neighboring planet, Saturn. Saturn has more than a dozen known moons, and it's likely that it captured one or more of these moons after it formed. Number 20. Artificial satellites. Humans have been putting artificial satellites into orbit around the moon since the 1960s. The first spacecraft to orbit the moon was the Soviet Lunar 2 probe in 1959. Since then, we have sent many spacecraft to explore the moon, including the Apollo missions that landed humans on the moon for the first time in 1969. Number 19. Chang'e 4. In 2019, China's Chang'e 4 spacecraft became the first spacecraft to land on the far side of the moon. This was a major accomplishment because the far side of the moon is so mysterious to us. The Chang'e 4 mission provided us with unprecedented views of the moon's far side and helped us learn more about our natural satellite. Number 18. Radio signals. The moon can sometimes interfere with radio signals on the Earth. This can cause static on radio and TV broadcasts and even interfere with cell phone signals. Number 17. A giant mirror. The surface of the moon reflects the light of the sun. Without the moon, we would experience even more extreme temperature changes during the night. Number 16. Moonlight. The moon doesn't produce its own light. Instead, it reflects the light of the sun. The different phases of the moon are caused by the changing angles of sunlight that hits the moon's surface as it rotates on its axis. Number 15. Partial lunar eclipse. When the moon passes through the partial shadow of the Earth, it causes a partial lunar eclipse. This is less dramatic than a total lunar eclipse, but just as impressive. Number 14. Total lunar eclipse. A total lunar eclipse happens when the moon passes completely through the Earth's shadow. During this time, the moon turns a deep red color, which is why it's sometimes called a blood moon. Number 13. Supermoon. A supermoon occurs when the moon is at its closest point to the Earth in its orbit. This makes the moon appear larger than usual and can cause higher than normal tides on the Earth. Number 12. Blue moon. A blue moon is the second full moon in a calendar month. This doesn't happen very often and is considered a rare occurrence. Number 11. Black moon. A black moon is the absence of a full moon, which occurs when the full moon is not visible due to cloud cover or other atmospheric conditions. Number 10. Harvest moon. The harvest moon is the full moon that occurs closest to the autumn equinox. It is so named because it provides extra light for farmers to harvest their crops during the evening hours. Number 9. Perigee and apogee. The moon's orbit around the Earth is elliptical, which means that the distance between the moon and the Earth changes throughout the year. The moon's closest approach to the Earth is called perigee, and its farthest distance is called apogee. Number 8. Nutation. Nutation is a slight wobbling of the moon's orbit around the Earth. This causes the moon to appear to change shape slightly over time. Number 7. Librations. Librations are small rocking motions that the moon makes on its axis. These motions cause the moon to appear to change shape slightly over time. Number 6. Precession. Precession is a slow change in the orientation of the moon's axis of rotation. This causes the moon's poles to move around in a circle. Number 5. 3D printing. In 2013, a 3D printer in space printed the first object on the moon. The object was a small plastic replica of the Apollo 11 lunar module that landed astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon in 1969. Number 4. Space tourism. The moon is the closest celestial body to the Earth that humans have ever visited. In the future, it's likely that space tourism will take us back to the moon and even further into space. Number 3. Fuel consumption. The amount of fuel required to launch a rocket to the moon is staggering. It takes about 3,400 tons of fuel to launch a single astronaut to the moon. Number 2. Distance to the moon. The distance to the moon is not constant and varies depending on where it is in its orbit around the Earth. At its closest point, the moon is about 363,104 kilometers from the Earth, and at its farthest distance, it's about 405,696 kilometers away. Number 1. A giant planet. If the moon were to become a giant planet, it would be more massive than Jupiter. In fact, it would be the largest planet in the solar system. Of course, this is impossible since the moon is tidally locked to the Earth, but it's still a fun fact to know. If you like this video, don't forget to leave us a comment with your opinion about the video and subscribe for more content. Until next time, enjoy the journey of discovering new facts.